The sun is a deceiver. For tens of thousands of years, it tormented our ancestors with a cruel silence. We lived like wandering ghosts in cold caves, trembling as winter arrived without warning. We sowed seeds into the mud with blind faith, only to receive withered fields and the heartbreaking cries of starving children. How many times did we kneel before the sky, begging for a sign, only to be met by the cold, indifferent shift of the stars? We were tired of being slaves to the randomness of the weather. Tonight, on this windswept plateau, that submission ends. We will not just build with stone, we will build with will. We will no longer beg for light, we will imprison it. This is not just a structure. This is humanity's first rebellion against the destiny of the gods. Look at the hands of these people. These are the hands of unnamed giants, with muscles as tough as braided rope and skin darkened by sun and wind. They have no wheels, no pulleys, and certainly no help from any machines of the future. The only thing they have is a frantic perseverance and a mountain of sand. To lift a 20-ton horizontal stone to the peak of the sky, they did the unthinkable. They changed the shape of the earth. Bag after bag of animal hide filled with sand was poured. Hundreds of archaic humans, drenched in sweat. Stone dust clinging to their hair like living statues. They are building a ramp to heaven. The grunts of men mingle with the screeching of oak wood crushed under thousands of tons of weight. Listen, that is the sound of a species stepping out of the shadows of evolution. As the lintel stone begins to move up, every millimeter is paid for in blood. A rope made of animal sinew suddenly snaps, lashing through the air like a blade. The death stone begins to slide back, threatening to crush everything in its path. Our protagonist, with his prominent brow ridge and wild eyes, throws himself into the jaws of death. He does not run. He uses his entire massive chest, using a giant wooden lever to lock the stone right at the edge of the abyss. In that moment, time seems to stand still. There is only heavy panting and the deathly silence of the tribe. He is not just holding a stone. He is holding the last hope of a species. This is the engineering of desperation, a type of engineering that modern physics would bow to. They used gravity to defeat gravity, the raw roughness of stone to conquer stone. But muscle is only the outer shell of this story. When the final lintel stone falls into the mortise joint with a thunderous boom that shakes the valley, a terrifying silence descends. That is when intellect begins to perform its miracle. How does a mind that does not know writing, that has never held a ruler, understand the pulse of the universe? The protagonist steps onto the top of the structure, standing precariously in mid-air, where the wind blows hard, making his leather loincloth flutter. He holds a rope made of animal fur, stretching a straight line through the center of the circle to the heel stone. In the distance, he is performing an astronomical calculation with the purest intuition. Every notch carved into the stone is a record of persistent observation over centuries. They learned to read the language of darkness to find the light. They knew that the sun would move in a certain path, and if they placed this stone in the right spot, they would hold the key to life. A single finger's width of misalignment, and this time machine would be useless. A single small error in carving the joints, and the entire great structure would collapse like a child's puzzle. This is no longer manual labor. This is the birth of mathematics, the beginning of primal geometry, written in sweat on eternal granite. They are not just building a stone circle. They are building a brain for the earth. They are turning inanimate materials into a tool for predicting the future. Each stone is a bit of data. Each gap is a natural algorithm. These archaic humans, whom we once looked down upon, were actually the architects of destiny. They saw order in chaos. They saw light in the deepest darkness. Imagine a cold winter morning. The tribe gathered around the stone circle, shivering in tattered hides. They are waiting. The tension is so thick you can hear the heartbeat of the person next to you. And then, the miracle happens. The sun rises from behind the heel stone, more radiant and majestic than ever. A beam of golden light, straight and sharp as a divine sword, pierces through the doorway of the megalithic circle. That beam shines directly onto the quartz stone at the center, making it burst into flame like a divine torch in broad daylight. The whole valley lights up. Roars of joy erupt from bare chests. That light signals that water must flow, seeds must be sown, and life must continue. We are no longer trembling creatures waiting for the mercy of the seasons. We have become masters of time, guardians of the pulse of the universe. This complex, from the dam guiding the source of life to the lush wild rice fields, and now the majestic stone circle standing tall amidst the wilderness, all creates a perfect map of an awakened civilization. These archaic humans did what we once thought impossible. They built a legacy that transcends every law of physics, a testament to the limitless power of human intellect when placed in a survival situation. Our video may end here, but their story never does. These stones will stand firm through thousands of storms, through the fall of empires and the rise of new technologies. They stand as a reminder that the source of greatness lies not in tools, but in the desire to overcome the darkness. We call them archaic, unevolved. But look at this arrangement. It requires a vision of space and time that even modern engineers would marvel at. They bent physics to erect stones that today's machines still struggle to move. They turned fear into architecture, desperation into a clock of the gods. When you look at this stone circle under the sunset, you see its shadow stretching across millennia, reaching us today. It is the shadow of will. It is the mark of giants who refuse to surrender to fate. We stand on their shoulders to see the future. But sometimes we need to look back to see that the real magic began with these mud-stained hands and these rugged stones. Welcome to the end of the building journey, but the beginning of human history. A civilization begins not when humans know how to use fire, but when they know how to control the light of the sun to serve their lives. This is megalithic fields, where the truth is greater than anything we ever imagined. Engineering that shouldn't have been possible, but it was built by the giants of the Stone Age. The ones who redefined the concept of immortality,